everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany Reacts Show, and on this show we talk all things movie news. We have a lot to go over, like so much. As I was pulling all of the news for today's show, I was like, oh my god, we have so much to go over. How am I not gonna make this show like 3 hours? So be prepared, get some snacks, maybe a drink, I don't know. Settle down because we have a lot to go over. We have all of the Oscars stuff to go over, so we're going to go over the winners and the losers. Plus, there was a lot of Marvel news that came out yesterday. A lot of movies were canceled, some publicly, some privately. We're going to talk about it. There's lots of other random, just a spackle of movie news. We're going to talk about the Batman being delayed. We're going to talk about some of the comments Bob Iger has made. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So, like I said, this is going to be a very full show today. But how are you guys doing? Hi, Josh Loves Movies. Hi, Pretty Princess. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Declan. Hi, Nate. Hi, Astronomy. Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Cheetah Viper. Hi, Ethereal Dragon. Hi, Shelly Lee. Hi, Folklore Corner. Hi, Neon Starflower. Hi, World of Entertainment. And thank you to each and every one of you who comes to my show every day. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. So, I do want to update you guys. My roof is like almost done. I did have to cancel my show on Sunday. If you guys weren't aware of why, I did post why on my Twitter account, so make sure you follow my Twitter account so you guys can get updated on my account and what I'm doing with my channel. So I told you guys about my roof. I shared a picture. My roof was literally gone. Like, it was crumbling and like literally falling apart, and they had to completely strip out the whole roof and replace it. So this entire week I've had construction people working in my apartment trying to repair the roof. So that's been fun. That's why I had to cancel on Sunday, because that would not have worked out. So I am going to talk a little bit about Kung Fu Panda in today's show. I'm just going to give you my brief sort of review. It's not going to be a full review like I normally would. I'm just going to give you my brief thoughts. There will be a Sunday review this week, though. This Sunday review, I'm going to be doing the Society of Magical Negroes. I think that's the title. It's a ridiculous, crazy title with a ridiculous, crazy premise and a ridiculous, crazy trailer. I have no idea what to expect with this movie. I just think it looks intentionally incendiary. So I'm curious to see what buttons it tries to poke at me. So I have no idea what my reaction to that film is going to be. So that's going to be fun. So make sure you're there, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, if you want to see my review for that. I think it's going to be quite a funny one, so I hope you're there. Oh, I have a new member. Thank you so much, Gaia Johnson, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. I don't actually have any bonuses yet. I used to have a bonus for members, but I didn't really like that segment. I guess I should ask you guys, to people who are my members, what would you guys like extra? I'm not going to do like a specific members only show just because there's not enough of you. But other than that, what else would you guys like just to have a bonus as a member? I want your feedback from the crowd, because I have no idea. I have no ideas, no thoughts, so I want your guys' opinion. The roof is not on fire, no, but I could literally see the sky. I could see the sky, y'all. It was that serious. I was so happy, like, no bird could fly in here. Man, I was thinking about it, though. But anyway, did you guys watch the Oscars? Did you guys watch the Oscars? Because I am going to talk about it quite a bit. What did you guys think about it? Overall, I have to say, I thought it was a decent show. I don't think it was very bad. There wasn't any sort of huge controversy like in previous Oscars shows. I would say the biggest controversy this time was the fact that we had, what was it, Robert De Niro, who was opening the Best Picture envelope. And he was like, my eyes see Oppenheimer. And everyone was like, wait, does that mean Oppenheimer won? And then the producers made the dumb choice to not read off all the nominees before they announced the winner. So everyone was super confused, and you had the camera movement, and it was hilarious. It was not really a bad controversy, just more that it was kind of funny to me. Anyway, I'm going to go over some of my highlights, but what did you guys think about the Oscars? I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the comments, so I'm glad that you guys watched it. Actually, a lot of people watched it. We're going to talk about later that apparently like 19.3 million people watched it. So that's a lot of people. That's not typical for what, a typical show on cable can get right now. So that's pretty good for the Oscars. That means that there's still some relevancy left, so good for them. I think the reason why a lot of people probably watched the Oscars this year is because there's actually movies people have seen that got nominated. Like Barbie and Oppenheimer were two of the biggest films of the year, so everyone had to watch for Barbenheimer. In fact, I wore pink today. I wore pink today in honor of Barbie. Because I was like, I feel like Barbie got slighted at the Oscars a bit. Barbie got the superhero treatment at the Oscars, so I felt a little bit bad for it, so I decided to wear pink to support it, because you guys know I love that movie. I don't think it got enough credit at the awards last night, or the other night. Or no, not even in the other night. It's freaking Thursday. How is it Thursday already? But anyway, Sunday night. What did you guys think about the Oscars? What do you think about Barbie and all the awards and everything? Nate thought it was all right. Okay. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the John Cena stunt. That was something. Yes, and we're gonna talk about the I'm Just Kidding performance. Barbie was super snubbed, especially for production design. I know, Poor Things has unique production design as well that they built, but Barbie, that was their Oscar to lose, and I can't believe they lost it. I was so upset that they lost Best Production Design. You have no idea. Oh, you didn't really like Barbie, Taylor Swift lover? I mean, that's fair. Not everyone has to like all the same movies. I didn't really super care for Oppenheimer, so that's fair, and it won Best Picture, so. Sorry, my now that the ceiling's back, the insulation in here gets really hot, so I brought something just to make sure I don't get too bad. But anyway, let's get into the news because we have a lot to go over. In fact, we're actually going to start with the box office because Kung Fu Panda did pretty well. It actually opened #1, beating Dune Part 2, with $80.3 million in its worldwide box office opening weekend, and the budget had an $85 million budget. So, and the movie had an $85 million budget. So that means this movie is likely going to be profitable. I mean, I'm not surprised. I know that a lot of people really love this franchise. A lot of people have nostalgia for this franchise. I mean, this franchise has been going on since like 2008, 2009. So, I mean, it's been going on for quite a while. So, like, the people who were kids when that movie came out are like adults now. So, I think there's a lot of nostalgia factor around this franchise, so I'm not surprised it's doing well. Just to give you a brief review of what I thought of the film, I did like it. I really thought it was charming. I thought it was well written. I thought the script was tight. And of course it had to be tight because apparently it's a mandate at the studio that all films for DreamWorks, or at least for Kung Fu Panda, have to be at 90 minutes. Which I'm just like, I mean, I get it on one hand because kids do have a short attention span. But on the other hand, I feel like you're putting a cap on creativity by giving it a mandate of only 90 minutes. Like, what if it made it a better film if you just gave it 10 more minutes? I feel like that's, I don't know, I have a little bit of a problem with this, but I do think that this movie was well paced, so I think the 90 minutes worked for this movie. Because it moves very, very quickly. The plot of this one is that Poe now has to give up the role of being the Dragon Master, and he has to pass on that role to someone else, but he doesn't want to give it up, so he has to take on one last big villain in order to, like, delay having to give up being a Dragon Master. And he meets another animal friend who's voiced by freaking Awkwafina! Who, Awkwafina must have, like, the best agent in the entire Hollywood industry, because how does she keep getting so much work? I'm sorry, you guys know how I feel about Awkwafina. She's fine, she seems nice, I guess. I just cannot stand that woman's voice. I don't think she's funny, and she's in everything. But anyway, Awkwafina's in it for a good bit, too. And she plays I think a fox, like a sly fox. I think it was a fox. I saw it like last week, so forgive me. But anyway, they become friends, but then there's a betrayal element, but they make up, you know. I mean, the plot's pretty predictable. If you've seen a lot of these tropes before, but what I really liked about it was the action. Some of the action sequences were amazing, like totally graphic. Watching this movie reminded me why I love animation so much, because you can do a lot of things in an animation format you just can't do in live action, and this movie is one of those movies that proved that. So I thought it was visually stunning, the action was great, I liked the story, the pacing was tight, the characters were nice. I wish we got more of the Fab Five. They weren't in it very much at all, like they pretty much were in it as a tease. They barely even spoke, if at all. So if you're there for the Fab Five, sorry, they're not in it much. But overall, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. I did like it. It's a good movie. If you have kids, they'll probably be entertained. So I give it a thumbs up. That's my short, in a nutshell review. Again, I'm not giving you a full review because I just don't have the time for that. We have so much to go over today. But those are my thoughts on it. Did anyone else see this movie, and what did you think of the film? It was 2008. Okay. Josh Loves Movie says, working Kung Fu Panda opening weekend, it was as packed as Dune Part 2. Wow. Well, I mean, you do have two big movies that are not opening, but are playing that weekend, so that makes sense. But that's great for your theater, though. Oh, Vincent says, I wish that movie will have a 2D style, but it's a good movie. A 2D style for this would be interesting, but they'll never do that. I think 3D is pretty much here to stay. Yeah, Anna Bear, I'm so glad you agree with me. Her voice is annoying. Jessica H. also agrees with me. I'm so glad I'm not alone. And Andrew. Okay, so we're all in agreement that we're not on the Awkwafina train. Not to be too mean on her, she seems alright. But like, every time I hear a voice in a movie, I'm like, oh man, I gotta hear this for 2 hours. At least this one was only 90 minutes. But anyway, I thought it was pretty good. I do recommend it, especially if you have kids. Now, moving on to Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 is doing very well at the box office. It only drops like less than 50% in its second weekend, which for a major blockbuster is super, super good, which means that word of mouth must be really, really positive, which if you've seen my review, you understand why the word of mouth must be positive, because it's super, super good. This movie is amazing. I love it even more than the first movie. I haven't seen it again. I want to see it again. I just haven't had the time. But I do want to see it for a second time. That's how much I loved it. So I'm glad that it's doing well. I'm glad that it's holding well, because even though it did open #1 and it opened more than the first movie, it still wasn't like a huge opening, so it needed to hold well in order to make a lot of money. So the fact that it's holding well means that it's probably going to make, like, I'm going to say at least 600 million worldwide, which is like a huge improvement on the first one. So I'm happy for it. I wish that Dune was a billion-dollar franchise, but it's not. 600 to 700 million is still really respectable for this kind of niche art house blockbuster, so I'm good with it. I'll take it. They'll make money on it, so I'm happy. We'll still get Dune Messiahs, so everything's good. What do you guys think about Dune's box office? What do you guys think about Dune? Are you happy about it? Thoughts? Seems like most of you guys like it. Cheetah Viper says Awkwafina's voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Oh my god. Shelly Lee says it only dropped 44%. That's right. It only dropped 44%, which is incredible. That's like close to 40%. That does not happen for major blockbusters. That's how good the word of mouth must be on this movie for it to drop that little. Cheetah Viper says the media lied. Chani is in it, but it's Paul's movie. She's not the main focus. You know what? I agree. I heard from a lot of reviews, the media was saying that like Zendaya was the main character, or like had like a lot to do in that, and I just did not agree. I felt like she was very much just kind of not Chani's girlfriend, but Paul's girlfriend. I mean, I really like Chani in that movie, but I don't think she had as much to do as I wish that she had. So I agree with you there. Oh no, 5 Fruit thinks that it's overrated, but that's fair. Not everyone's going to like it. I mean, my mom, she only barely likes this movie. She just liked the action sequences, so it's not for everyone. Now, because this movie did well, and because the Willy Wonka movie did well, Timothee Chalamet is now like, oh, I'm this big blockbuster actor now. I am a big deal. So now he's going around asking for huge double-figure salaries, double-digit salaries for his future movies, which I have to say, I think he's earned. I mean, the Willy Wonka movie made like $600 million worldwide, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming, and then now this movie is doing really well. He's had some other hits, so I do think that he's pretty much a draw. Like, he's got to be one of the biggest draws for like the young demographic, or maybe all demographics, I don't know. But out of like the younger generation of actors, he's got to be one of the biggest draws that we have currently in the industry. I mean, his movies do tend to do well, so I mean, pay him what he's worth. I kind of think he's worth a bigger paycheck now with these movies doing so well. What do you guys think? Oh, Shelley does not agree. Why don't you agree, Shelley? Oh, no, you guys don't like Timothee? Oh, no, I'm so curious. This is not what I was expecting to see in the chat. Story Dan says Timmy is a bad person. What did he do? What did he do to make him a bad person? I mean, I don't know this guy. Timmy does not deserve it. Oh, no. That Super says both of those movies are built on IP, though. That's true, that's true. He was in another movie that was called Bones and All. That was like it was a cannibal movie, which is an interesting movie to do after doing Call Me By Your Name with Armie Hammer, but whatever. I guess they're both cannibals. I don't know, allegedly. Anyway. So, and that movie didn't do very well at the box office, and it wasn't a major IP. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just Dune and Willy Wonka selling it, not him. But I think the fact that he has those movies on his resume now means that he can ask for a lot of money, even if it's maybe not him anyway. So maybe he'll get that big check. Who knows? I have no idea what his next project is going to be. I don't think he's announced it yet. He's probably looking and being very picky right now on what he chooses because he thinks he's like this big major star right now, which, I mean, he kind of is. So I imagine he's just being very picky on his next project. So I'm sure we'll hear about what he's going to do soon, and I'm curious to see how much they're going to pay him. Primal Plasma calls the people in the chat haters. Interesting. Oh, that's what he did. Oh, did he support? I'm not going to talk about politics, but I did not know that he did that. We're going to talk about Lily Gladstone, Jessica. Josh Loves Movie says Zendaya is doing Challengers after Dune Part 2, so hopefully it leads to bigger paychecks for her. That's true. I'm so curious to see how Challengers is going to do. Like, so curious. It could either do super well, or it could just kind of flop. I honestly have no idea. I want it to do well because I really like Zendaya. I want her to be a big major star just because I think she seems like a good person. I'm rooting for her, so I'm rooting for Challengers. I will be reviewing Challengers on my channel, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed for that. But yeah, I think that Zendaya and Timothee Chalamet are probably two of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now. So good for them. Good for them. Anyway, moving on. I have one brief bit of AI news before we talk about the Oscars. Because this is actually positive AI news for a change. Because Netflix chief Ted Sarandos says AI will never replace human filmmakers. There's nothing about the authenticity and the reality of human experience that people see. There's something. And they can also see when it's inauthentic. You know what? I actually agree with this comment. And you know why? Because when I talked about Barbie and my excitement for Barbie, a lot of the reason why I was super excited for Barbie was because they made real sets and they had real environments. And like that entire video where they had Margot Robbie doing a tour of the Barbie dream house was genius marketing because it totally sold me on the film, even more than I was already sold. And it's because it just felt so authentic and real and tangible. And every time that I see something that doesn't feel that way, I always complain about it, don't I? Didn't I say in the Wicked trailer I felt like it didn't feel real and tangible enough? Or one of my biggest complaints about, what's it called? The Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania movie was that I thought it just looked like CGI mess. So I think people do care when something is like real and authentic. Now saying that, I don't think Ted Sarandos is saying that they're never going to use AI. I think they're chomping at the bit to use it. But I think it's nice that he's not planning on just turning Netflix into a prompt engine where the user just types into like a prompt into Netflix like, oh, I want to watch a movie about this, and then Netflix just generates it. A lot of people were worried that that's something that Netflix would do, so it sounds like that's not what they're going to do. So again, this is actually a very positive AI news story for a change. So I have to agree with him here. What do you guys think? I know, right, CD Woods? Netflix finally doing something good? Who would have thought? Vincent Howell says, which Hollywood studios will use AI? I think it's going to be all of them. In fact, if you guys know, I told you guys about Sora a few weeks ago, OpenAI's AI video model. Well, apparently they're letting a few filmmakers test it right now. So they're already, like, Hollywood's already using it behind the scenes, testing it out. So I think all the studios are going to be using this stuff. Josh Loves Movie says, Netflix and Illumination being against AI is so great. Hopefully more studios will join them. You can't replace filmmakers. I know, I don't think you can replace all filmmakers entirely, but I definitely do think that inserting AI into the process will definitely streamline a lot of things and probably lead to, like, there just needing to be less jobs on a film set or on a film in general. So that I still think there's going to be a shrinkage of jobs, but I don't think that it's going to be like all jobs just completely go away. Or at least that's what I have my fingers crossed for, because I think that's probably the best case scenario for this whole AI situation. But anyway, moving on to the next thing. Sorry. Now we're going to finally talk about the Oscars. So, who won the Oscars? Well, obviously Oppenheimer. They freaking love themselves some Oppenheimer. And Poor Things. Let me tell you, Oppenheimer won 7 Oscars on Sunday. 7. I'm going to tell you which Oscars in a minute. Poor Things won 4, and The Zone of Interest won 2. Barbie only won 1, unfortunately, but we'll talk about Barbie in a second. Here's what Oppenheimer won. Oppenheimer won Best Picture, Best Editing, Best Director, Best Lead Actor, Best Original Score, Best Cinematography, and Best Supporting Actor. So pretty much almost all of the major lead categories, minus a few. So yeah, the Academy loved this movie. Christopher Nolan, in particular, is going to get almost $100 million in payout from Oppenheimer alone, because apparently he got bonuses for his Oscar wins. So on top of back-end pay, he also got bonuses for Oscars, and now that he has 2, because he got 1 for Best Director and 1 for Producer, he's going to make almost $100 million on this movie. That is incredible. Talking about getting paid a lot, this is the kind of money that Timothee Chalamet probably wants to make. Like, this is a lot, but I feel like he kind of earned it. I don't even like this movie, and I feel like he earned it, not gonna lie. Oh, John Burns! Thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Thank you, John Burns. Oh, is Prancer getting screen time? Was he here? Someone just mentioned Prancer. Anna Barris says, this is why I don't watch the Oscars, but I'll watch Brittany react to it. Oh, that's very sweet. Oh, he was on the bed. Oh, okay, that's good to know. Five Fruit says, would you watch a full AI movie? I would watch one at least once, just out of the pure novelty sake, like just to see what an AI movie even is like. But it has to be good. I'm not just going to watch an AI movie just because it's AI. It has to be a good story. It has to be engaging. It has to be something interesting, something worth watching. So we'll see. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to try at least one just to see what it's like. Just because I'm curious. But anyway, getting back to this. Barbie didn't just won one Oscar. It was the Best Original Song Oscar, which means that Billie Eilish is now the youngest person ever to win 2 Oscars. She got another Oscar for the No Time to Die song for Bond. So now this is her second Oscar win, and she's only 22 years old. I mean, how accomplished is that? I feel like both the film industry and the music industry just love to throw awards at this girl. Like, Hollywood loves Billie Eilish, and I really like Billie Eilish too, but man, do they love giving her awards. I mean, I think this is deserved, though, even though I feel like I'm Just Ken probably deserved it more, just because I think it's more of a fun song. But I do think that it's a very beautiful song. It was played during a very important part of the movie, so I get it. But yeah, good for Billie. I am a little bit sad that Barbie only got 1 Oscar, but at least it's an Oscar-winning movie now. Anyone else surprised? Were you guys rooting for another original song or anything? Astronomy says happy for Billie, but it should have been Ryan. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to turn my light off. It's just a little too hot. Billie's eyelash. Okay. Every time I see Billie, I think about my dad a few years ago, who he doesn't really pay attention to like a lot of pop stars nowadays. So I think it was after 2019 when Billie Eilish swept the Grammys. He called me and he was like, some guy named Billie just won all these Grammys. He said some guy named Billie. He had no idea. So now that's just my fun little cute story. But anyway, she's very super talented, so I get it. Yeah, they're just throwing awards at this girl. True, very true. But anyway, don't feel bad for Greta Gerwig because she's working on a lot of stuff right now. Greta Gerwig is currently working on her Narnia film, which is going to be for Netflix. I kind of hope Netflix does one of those things where they allow the movie to go to theaters for a certain amount of time before it goes to Netflix, because I really want a Greta Gerwig movie to be in theaters. It kind of sucks that this just might be a streaming film, but at least it's Narnia. I do like Narnia. I, like a lot of people my age, really liked those Narnia movies as a kid. So I'm glad that they're kind of doing another Narnia version, because I do feel like there's more that they could do with that property. And I feel like Greta Gerwig is a perfect person to really tap into that. So I'm excited for this. I'm glad that Greta has something else going on and that she's already working on it. And that's not even the only thing that she's working on. She's also going to star in Noah Baumbach's next film along George Clooney and Adam Sandler. I have no idea what the movie is about, but those are some pretty big names. So she's got a great, thriving career. She didn't get an Oscar nomination, but, I mean, at least for Best Director. But she did get all this stuff off of Barbie, so, I mean, she's still winning at life. You can't really feel too bad for her. Greta Gerwig is doing fine. But anyway, moving on. Barbie also kind of swept the night as far as like getting all of the attention, because I feel like out of all the things that happened at the Oscars, it's this performance, Ryan Gosling's I'm Just Ken performance, that's the thing that everyone is talking about. It's like, again, even though Barbie didn't really get a lot of respect at the Oscars, they kept playing the Barbie theme song. All people can talk about is the I'm Just Ken performance. Barbie was the moment. They just don't want to acknowledge it, so it just sucks. It just sucks, okay? It just sucks. But anyway, this was a great performance. I loved it. Thought it was fantastic. I honestly feel like he could eat up a lot of the pop boys right now. I mean, there's not a lot of male pop stars right now that could do this kind of performance, and he's an actor. So that's embarrassing for our male pop stars, I'm not gonna lie. He ate them up. This was such a good performance, man. He has so much charisma. Like, he is just a natural born movie star. And I love how much he gave credit to Barbie, and he didn't just make it about Ken. He didn't have to do that, so that was really nice of him. Probably he felt like he had to, because feminists would have been very angry if he didn't. But anyway, I just thought this was a great performance. So good. What did you guys think of his performance? Getting to the comments. Yeah, Shelley Lee, Greta's gonna be fine. She's gonna be A-okay. Astronomy says Ryan Gosling performing I'm Just Ken at the Oscars is absolutely iconic. Oh yeah, I think this performance will absolutely be remembered. I think it was that good. Yeah, Jessica, it was so good. You haven't watched it, Ellie? Go watch it right after this live stream. You have to see it. It's really good. Oh yeah, and Slash from Guns N' Roses was there too, which I wasn't expecting. Like, he really went all out for this. Like, good for him. At first I thought that was Brian from Queen, but then I realized it wasn't. I really like Queen, so that would have made me even more excited. Who was the best dressed? I feel like most of the dresses this year were kind of boring. Like, they were just very safe. I liked Emma Stone's dress. I thought that was pretty. That's the only one that's really coming out and standing out to me. I felt like most of the dresses were just kind of okay, to be honest. But anyway, moving on. So, Ryan Gosling is also going to be okay, even though he lost all of his Oscar noms. Because his next movie is called The Fall Guy, where he plays a stuntman, and apparently this stunt movie is crazy. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records for doing a stunt where a car does 8.5 cannon rolls, which apparently is the most ever caught on film for a motion picture. I don't even know what that really means, but it seems like they're going all out for this movie. And apparently it's getting a lot of really great reviews. It debuted with a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm excited for The Fall Guy. I think it looks like a fun, kind of quirky movie, so I'm into it. I definitely will be reviewing it on this channel, so again, make sure you're subscribed for that. So Ryan Gosling also will be fine. He has a lot, I'm sure, he's going to be doing up next, but this movie will probably do very well just because he's coming off of Barbie. People like Emily Blunt. I think the premise looks promising. I think this movie will probably do pretty well. Or at least I hope it does. At least for Hollywood's sake, it should do well. It's two attractive, major Hollywood stars trying to sell a movie. If they can't sell this movie, then that means very, very bad things for Hollywood. This movie should do well. And I hope it does, really. Yeah, Cheetah Viper. It looks really funny. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to talk about John Cena. You know what? Let's just talk about John Cena now since you guys have mentioned it. Because yes, John Cena. What on earth was he doing? What is this? Why was he streaking on national television? I get it was a joke. It's a joke, haha. But like, he was actually naked. I think all he had on was a modesty diaper. So basically he was naked minus a modesty diaper. So he was basically streaking. Like, he was this close to actually streaking. Not even as a joke, but like actually streaking. I thought this was pretty crazy. People seem mixed on this. Not everyone seemed to like it. Some people thought it was inappropriate. Some people thought it was funny. I thought it was just crazy and wild because I was just like, wait a minute. He's actually naked though. So he's actually streaking? I mean, between this and the OnlyFans thing, I'm just like, I feel like John Cena really just wants to be naked. I feel like if John Cena didn't want to be taken seriously as an actor, he totally would make like a serious OnlyFans, like an actual OnlyFans, because he's always trying to be naked. He's always trying to show his abs, his butt, his something, everything he's in it. He's always taking his shirt off, and now he's naked, butt naked on stage at the Oscars. I'm telling you, in another life, that man has a real OnlyFans. He just wants it. You can tell he wants it. Oh, Danny, come on. It's not a humiliation ritual. I just think that he likes this stuff. I'm telling you, he's a freak. I think that's what this is. He just likes being naked. Astronomy says the stuff they allow on national television is wild. Right? Right? I feel like the stuff that they allow on TV now, even when I was a kid, would not have been allowed. Like, the stuff they allow now is wild to me. But anyway, Shelly Lee says you're not mad about this. I can always count on you for being thirsty, Shelly Lee. You're our thirst queen in the chat. Oh, not a fan of his, Cheetah Viper says. Interesting. João Pedro says it wasn't the first naked person at the Oscars, was it? No! In fact, they did this because there was another streaker in the 70s and they were trying to replicate that moment. It was part of the whole bit. But I just thought it was kind of crazy that he actually did this. And then, on top of that, he actually did the whole nominee thing and announced the winners like this. Like, it wasn't even just a skit. It was like he did his whole nominee thing like that. That's crazy to me. Anyway, I have to get back to the who won and who lost, but you guys were talking about John Cena and I had to talk about it because, yeah, that was pretty crazy. But there were some films that didn't get any Oscars that night. Maestro, which I'm kind of happy about because I feel like Bradley Cooper embarrassed himself with how badly he wanted that Oscar. And I think that's why it didn't get any, because I think he embarrassed himself. Past Lives didn't get anything. Across the Spiderverse didn't get anything, which I'm sad about. Killers of the Flower Moon didn't get anything, which I'm slightly surprised by, because it's Martin Scorsese, and you think that they'd want to give him more awards. But no, it seems like maybe people didn't really care for that movie. Or maybe it just Oppenheimer took all of its awards. I don't know. But it didn't get anything. Shameik Moore, who voices, of course, Miles in Across the Spider-Verse, was very upset that it did not win Best Animated Feature. Apparently he posted that it was robbed, but he misspelled it the first time and had to redo it a second time, which I find absolutely hilarious. He spelled it robbed with one B, and then he was like, oh, I actually meant robbed with two B's. He had to make sure it was spelled correctly. Like, he had to make sure you guys knew what he meant. He was like, you know what? We were robbed. I'm going to get this right. We were robbed. But anyway, he did eventually apologize, because I do think this is very unprofessional. Even if you feel like you were robbed, you don't go and you post it on social media. Like, that's so unprofessional. But anyway, The Boy and the Heron is who won. So I'm glad that Miyazaki at least got another Oscar before, you know, the inevitable end. He's very old now, so I'm glad that he got an Oscar. I didn't really super care for this movie. It's not one of my favorites of his, but I like that it's a 2D animated film that won. Only 2 animated films have ever won Best Animated Feature, and it's been 2 Miyazaki films, with this film and Spirited Away. And I love 2D animation, so I'm just glad that 2D animation's getting some love. So, you know what? I'm not mad about this win. I just really wish that Across the Spider-Verse had won instead. But I'm not going to go on social media and be like, robbed, and misspell it. This is too funny to me. I'm sorry. This is just way too funny to me. The fact that he had to be like, sorry. But anyway. Speaking of Across the Spider-Verse, we might be getting a live-action noir series with Nicolas Cage? Huh? This is very weird to me. I don't know how I feel about Spider-Noir getting a live-action project before Miles himself. I feel like Miles should get a live-action movie first before we start giving other characters spin-off series. But, you know what? I like Nick Cage. I guess that's fine, but, like, where's the Miles movie? If we're gonna do this, we might as well do Miles, right? But anyway, what do you guys think about the whole Across the Spider-Verse situation not winning? What do you think about freaking Nicolas Cage possibly getting a Spider-Verse spin-off series? What do you think about The Boy and the Heron winning Best Animated Feature? What do you think about all of this? Danny is not happy. Okay. Oh, you're not happy about the spin-off series? Is that what you're saying no about? Are you guys not into this? Oh, a Spider-Gwen series would be interesting. I would be interested in Spider-Gwen, but I still want something Miles first. Like, I feel it's weird to go for the side characters and not the main lead. Like, we need a Miles movie. That's what I want. Okay, Cheetah Viper says WTF. Okay, you guys are not into this. Interesting. Prototype says, why is everybody acting like Miyazaki has a terminal disease or something? He's already come out of retirement like 7 times. Well, how old is Miyazaki? Hold on, let me look this up. Because he's very old. Let me see. He's 83, so I mean... Sorry. These movies take a long time to make. Like, I think The Boy and the Heron took like several years. So, maybe he can make another one. We'll see. 83 is, you know, still young, I guess. So we'll see. Ellie says, do they just put these movies do they just put these movie ideas in a generator? Well, to be fair, this isn't a movie. This is going to be, or could be, a series, so not a movie, but still very weird and strange. Seems like you guys are not interested in this idea at all. Oh, Kana thinks he could live 20 more years. Well, I hope he does. I really do. I hope we get like 5 more movies from him if we can. That'd be great. 83 and still the GOAT. Yep. Okay, Miss Olsen would rather see this in 2D. That's true. I mean, I feel like as far as the whole Sony's Spider-Man cinematic universe thing goes, I feel like they did it so stupidly. Why did they focus on giving all of the villains their own solo movies instead of doing like variations of Spider-Man and giving them their own Spider movies? Like, you could have Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie. You can have a Miles Spider-Man movie. You could have a Spider-Gwen movie. And you can have... Maybe then you have your live-action Spider-Man noir movie or something like that. And you just have, like, different versions of Spider-Man. That's what the Sony cinematic universe should be. I don't understand why they decided to focus on the villains and give the villains their own movie. That just doesn't make sense to me, so... yeah, very, very strange indeed. But anyway, that was kind of a side thing. But anyway, moving on. So, Godzilla -1 also won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. It was the only category it was nominated for, so that's great. I think the fact that it won this category just means that the Academy really wanted to award this movie somehow, some way. Because the fact that this movie that was made for less than $15 million won Best Visual Effects over movies that have budgets in the hundreds of millions is incredible and inspiring, and I'm really happy for all of them. I think it's very well deserved. Those visual effects were great. That movie was great. I'm just really happy for all of them, and I want to see what this director can do next because I think he's really, really talented. This was one of the highlights of the night for me personally because I love this movie. It's still my favorite movie of last year. Still my favorite movie I've seen since. Yes, I love this movie even more than Dune Part 2. That's how much I loved Godzilla -1. So yeah, I think it's totally deserved. Yep, 10 out of 10. Totally. I think I gave this movie a 9.5. But in retrospect, I'm so tempted to give it a 10 out of 10. I really think it's a 10 out of 10 movie. Like, there's nothing I can say I didn't like about it. Nothing. Yeah, they look very, very happy. And they brought tiny little Godzilla dolls, which is so super cute. And they had little Godzilla on their shoes. Like, they really went all in on the Godzilla theme. Like, they were super, super adorable about it. But anyway, moving on. Divine Joy Randolph also won Best Supporting Actress. Sorry. Her speech, I thought her speech was one of the best speeches of the entire night. It almost made me cry. She was super emotional. Paul Giamatti was crying in the audience, which almost got me. I thought she had probably the best speech of the night. Loved the speech. Happy for her. So happy. We had Emma Stone that won Best Actress, which was an upset for Lily Gladstone. A lot of people really thought Lily Gladstone was going to win this. In fact, I think Emma Stone thought Lily Gladstone was going to win this because her reaction, man, her reaction when they called her name to win was just one of pure terror. Like, she was terrified. Like, you could tell she just thought that people were going to have such huge backlash against her, that people were going to be so mean to her because people wanted Lily Gladstone to win. I think that she just saw all the Twitter comments flash before her eyes when her name was called, because that was what was clearly reading on her face to me. She just read so terrified when her name was called. I kind of felt bad for her a little bit. But anyway, I haven't seen this movie. I have no idea if she deserved it. Everyone says that she's amazing in it. I'm going to take their word on it. But anyway, I like Emma Stone, so good for her. Anyone else surprised by this? Did you think Lily was going to win? What do you think? You can tell their team made that movie with love and passion. Are you talking about Godzilla? Because if so, I agree. Lily Sadstone. I love your guys' dad jokes. They're so funny to me. I know Divine Joy Randolph had a clean sweep. She literally won like every category of like award show that you could possibly win. That's impressive. Super impressive. Lily was laying in bed half the movie though. To be honest, I haven't seen that movie either. I used to be so good at this. I used to make it a rule that I had to watch every single movie that was nominated for Best Picture, and I haven't done that for like the past 2 years. That's really bad. I think it's because I'm spending so much time seeing other movies to review for the channel that I don't end up having enough time to see these other films too. I have to figure this out. But yeah, I actually think maybe I do want to watch Poor Things. I saw a clip on Twitter that kind of convinced me. So I think I might watch Poor Things. Maybe. If I do watch it, I'll tell you guys what I think. Oh no, Madonna! I'm sorry, I don't know why you can't do that. Anise says, I like Lily. I watched Poor Things last night and it's very weird. Emma's very good and deserving. Literally everyone who watches Poor Things just says that it's very weird. My doctor, I went to the doctor office like last week or something, and my doctor was like, oh yeah, I saw Poor Things. And that movie was so weird. Like, she had nothing positive to say about it. So yeah, I know it's super weird. I know it's super trippy. Whenever I do see it, I'm sure it's gonna be strange, but you know what, that's fine. I kind of like strange movies, so maybe I should see this film. Any other thoughts on this? You guys can't super chat? I didn't cut off that ability, so I'm not sure why. Super chats are not available. Interesting. Oh, I will figure that out later, but thank you guys for letting me know. But anyway, moving on. So something else that I liked about the Oscars is that they kept taking shots at Madame Web. Like, John Mulaney had this quote when he was presenting Best Sound at the Oscars. He said, without sound, we wouldn't have lines, like he was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders just before she died. Again, they didn't even, like, actually have that full line in the movie, probably because it was memed to death. They took it out, or I think they just kind of edited it a little bit. But the fact that the most popular line from this movie is only in the trailer, it just makes this film even more iconic. Like, this movie has cult classic written all over it. I just love that they kept coming for this movie. I mean, even Sydney Sweeney keeps coming for this movie. She says that she's not bothered that Madame Web bombed. She said, I was just hired as an actress in it. So I was just going along for the ride for whatever was going to happen. Basically, she was like, y'all, I was just paid. I was an employee. I was hired. I had a job to do. It's not my job to, like, care about if it's going to do well or not. I was just an actress. I think that's so funny how she was literally like, I was just hired to do a job. Like, all of these people are, like, staying away from this movie with the 10-foot pole, and I find it so hilarious. Oh, Shelly Lee, you just gifted 5 members. Thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. That's incredible. Thank you. You're always so kind and generous. Thank you so much, Shelly Lee. Really, I thank you so much. So who's a member now? We have Madonna, Laura, Anna Bear, Folklore Corner, Rusty. You guys are all members now. That's great. Thank you so much. And Shelly, who's been a member for 7 months, just said, okay, the membership gifting thing's working though. So yes, thank you for proving that's working. I don't know why the super chats aren't working. I'm gonna have to figure that out after the live stream. I will let you guys know. Hopefully it's working for Sunday. But yeah, thank you again, Shelly Lee. That was very kind of you. Super, super kind. And now you guys get to be members. Yay. That's great. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. As I already mentioned, the Oscars, they got 19.5. I said 19.3, but it was actually 19.5 million viewers. So that's the most watched Oscars in 4 years. Again, I think it's just because there's movies this year that people actually saw got nominated. So I think that helps. I really do think it's about, I think in 2020, the Oscars ratings were, super, super low, but I think the movies that got nominated that year were, films that no one saw. So I really do think that the viewership of the Oscars is correlated to how popular the movies are that are nominated. I really do feel like that's a part of it. I mean, having Barbenheimer nominated is certainly going to help the viewership, and clearly it did. So that's my theory on this, at least, in my opinion. What do you guys think, though? I'm sorry, I'm so sweaty. I hate how hot my room is. I have a fan. I could turn it on, but then you guys wouldn't be able to hear me because my fan is so loud. It's a whole thing. Anyway. Yep, it's good for the Oscars. I think it means it's still relevant. People have been questioning whether or not the Oscars are relevant. I think this proves that they are. People still care, so that's great for the industry. Yeah, just good things all around. Now, moving away from the Oscars, we have some other things to go over. I did warn you that this show would be long. I do have WTF news, so if you guys want to stick around to the very end, you guys will get to hear my WTF news for the week. And it's a pretty big WTF, so you want to hear it, so make sure you stick around. But anyway, moving on. So, Nicolas Cage says National Treasure 3 is not happening, which I think sucks. He says, if you want to find treasure, don't look at Disney. It's not there. I think it's so funny that he took a dig at Disney because everyone's doing it now, but I guess I just think that's a pretty funny statement. But anyway, I think that National Treasure 3 with Nicolas Cage would actually do really well. Just for nostalgia reasons, because I actually personally like those movies. I know a lot of other people like those National Treasure movies as well. I think they also kind of have a bit of a cult classic standing among some people. I think if you got Nicolas Cage back, and say the third movie was him trying to... I was gonna say kidnap the president, but they already did that. I don't know. Maybe they try to steal, Thomas Jefferson's, shirt or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something. But, I feel like they need another national treasure. The world needs another national treasure. I love these movies so much, and I'm sad that we're not getting another one, especially since the second one ends on such a cliffhanger, so that sucks. Anyone a fan of National Treasure like I am? Or do you guys not care at all? Cheetah Viper says he'll be fine. Yeah, he'll be fine. I'm just upset because I like these movies. Vincent watched the National Treasure series on Disney Plus. I did not watch that. It did not look very good to me, but I'm glad that you liked it. John Mulaney? No, it has to be Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is National Treasure. I just can't imagine anyone else in this role. I really can't. Yes, Georgie, they're so good! I don't know what they're doing over there at Disney because I really think this would have been a hit. But, oh well. Oh well. Moving on. So Black Mirror will be coming back. Black Mirror is one of my favorite shows. Love Black Mirror. And it looks like for the next season, we'll be getting a sequel to the USS Callister episode, which is one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror of all time. It riffs on Star Trek, and I love it. Anyone loves Black Mirror like I do? Anyone excited for a sequel to the USS Callister episode? I mean, I'm so excited for this that this is now like one of my most anticipated things of next year. I'm not kidding. That's how excited I am for this. I love that episode. I go back and rewatch that episode every now and then all the time. I really do. That's how much I love that episode, so this makes me happy. Anyone else as happy as I am about this? Do you guys watch Black Mirror at all? If you don't, you really should. It's a good show. Okay, Danny's excited. That's good. That's good. Cheetah Viper says, Star Trek, live long and prosper. I think I can do the thing. Can I do the thing? Oh no, I can sort of do the thing. Yeah, I can do the thing. Okay, live long and prosper. I had to, like, stick my hands together. Oh, you're meh about Black Mirror, Anna Bear? Oh, that's sad. We already live in Black Mirror. I know! I mean, spoiler alert for WTF news, but it's kind of related to the whole Black Mirror stuff, because it's definitely, we're living in the Black Mirror dimension. For sure. We are living in Black Mirror. So, stick around for the WTF news, because I'm going to prove that to you guys. Now, we're getting another Jurassic World movie, directed by Gareth Edwards. I already told you about that. But it looks like Scarlett Johansson has been offered the lead role. I don't know if she's taken it yet, but she's been offered. Now, I like Scarlett Johansson. I think she's really talented. I liked the Black Widow movie, I think, more than most people did. I thought it was okay. So I'm happy for her, even though I thought the last Jurassic World was top 3 worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And you guys know how much I hate Jurassic World Dominion. It might even be my least favorite. It's between this and the original Avatar: The Last Airbender movie for my least favorite movie I've ever seen. That's how much I hated Jurassic World Dominion. So I'm not going to lie, my excitement for this next Jurassic World movie has been diminished quite considerably. But I'm still happy for Scarlett Johansson because I like her. What do you guys think about this? Does this make you more excited for it? Yes, no, don't care? Oh, Laura B says she won't accept it. Interesting. Anna Bear says, oh dear God, why do you say that? You don't like her? Danny says, what? LOL, please let there be dinosaurs in it at least. I know, right? Can there at least be dinosaurs in this movie? I swear to God, if I see one locust, I'm walking out of the theater. I can't do it again. I can't do it again. Yeah, it better be about dinosaurs this time. Josh Loves Movies says, Scarlett Johansson leaving Marvel for Jurassic World is very smart, as she was wasted as Black Widow. I agree. I wish they did more with her, and I think her movie came way too late. It should have came in like 2015, not 2022. So yeah, I agree with you guys. Or was it 2021? It just came way too late, and I feel like they didn't do as much with her as they could have. So I agree with you there. But I like Scarlett, so she makes me at least sort of interested in this movie, but I don't know, guys. Those locusts really burned me hard. Just burned me hard. So anyway, moving on. So Steven Spielberg confirms that we might be getting a Ready Player 2. So that's interesting. He won't be directing it this time, but he will be producing it. Now, I'm not surprised by this because the first Ready Player 1 has been trending a lot on Netflix ever since Apple Vision Pro came out. And I feel like all this talk about the metaverse from Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and now the Apple Vision Pro and Apple, I feel like the topic of this movie is now more relevant than ever. So I feel like a Ready Player 2 is actually coming out at the perfect time when all this stuff in real life is like starting to take off. So I think this is very interesting. I really like the first movie. I think it's smart. I think it's cool. It's actually one of my favorite Steven Spielberg movies. I know it's a guilty pleasure. It's not one of his best. I'm not saying it's one of his best. but as far as entertainment value goes, I really enjoy it. So anyone else excited for a Ready Player 2 like I am? Oh, you didn't like the first one, Laura B. Interesting. Georgie, why? Why? Do you like the last Jurassic World movie? Prototype says, I will not watch this. I've heard Ready Player 2 is a very bad book. Oh no! Well, maybe they'll make a lot of changes. They made a lot of changes in the movie for the first one. CD Wood says, I enjoyed the first Ready Player 1 film, so you'll watch it on streaming. You guys kill me with this. Okay, I'll watch this on streaming.
For what says I enjoyed the first Ready Player 1 film, so you're watching on streaming. Check it out.
Why is Siri listening to our conversations? Siri, I was not talking to you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Siri had to butt in on our conversation there. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this sequel. I really like the first one. I think it's coming out in a very timely era when all of this stuff is actually breaking out in real life. So it's going to be very interesting. Maybe it'll have a lot more meta commentary on like the Apple Vision Pro and stuff. That'd be really funny to me. Okay, Anna Bear is excited, so that's good. Square Cube says, wonder how it'll be with today's advancements in AI and VR tech. That's true. You know, Disney released a video showing their own omnidirectional treadmill a couple of weeks ago, and that treadmill looked already more advanced than the treadmill that's in this movie. So I'm wondering if they're going to like update a lot of stuff for the sequel because we're getting a lot of this stuff for real, that they might need to like update it to make it look a bit more futuristic. I've been wondering that about sci-fi in general, actually. Like, now that sci-fi is kind of becoming real life a bit, how are we going to make sci-fi sci-fi? Like, what's going to make the fiction part of science fiction when science fiction is becoming science reality? I have no idea. I really do think all of this stuff is going to change that genre because it's going to have to. I'm really curious to see what that's going to look like, but that's just another side note thing that I've been wondering about. But anyway. Wait, Georgie, you went just because of my recommendation. Wait, what did you see? What did you see? Tell me, I don't know what you mean, Georgie. But anyway, moving on. So Universal reportedly, oh yeah, they have a mandate. This is so stupid. Universal has a mandate to hire stars for voice roles in their tentpole animated movies, which makes me so mad. Makes me so mad. Why? I mean, I get why. They want big names because they think big names will help sell the movie. I get it. But I also think it sucks for voice actors. In the 90s, you could be a voice actor that was just really talented at doing voices and get work on these big animated features. Now you can't really do that because they want to give it to big celebrities who have never done any voice acting ever. So that really sucks, and I feel like that mixed with AI, I feel really bad for voice actors right now because they're kind of getting attacked from all different sides. What do you guys think about this? You know, it was actually Aladdin that changed all of this. It was the casting of Robin Williams and Aladdin that changed all of this. The fact that Robin Williams was in Aladdin actually did, I think, drive the box office a bit. So ever since then, they've been trying to cast lead celebrities in these movies instead of just voice actors. So it all traces back to Aladdin, unfortunately. What do you guys think about this? Are you upset about this like me, or do you not care? I know, right, Square Cube? Of course it's Universal. I'm almost surprised it's not Warner Brothers doing this. Josh Loves Movie says, most animation studios are doing this nowadays, which sucks. At least Pixar has newcomers for Elemental. That's true. Elemental did have some great voice actors that weren't celebrities. I did notice that. That was one of the things I did like about Elemental, actually. True, Shelley Lee. Robin Williams did kill it. I mean, how could you blame him? I mean, he did such a good job. He started an entire trend. Anna Bear says, Awkwafina is a perfect example of a crappy star voice actor. Thank you, Anna Bear. Perfect example. Awkwafina is not a voice actress. Okay? But they keep hiring her as a voice actress just because she has a funny voice. And I'm like, no, stop doing this. Please. That's a great example, Anna Bear. Thank you. Kana Bluey says, I'm kind of upset, but to be frank, there are celebrities with great voice acting chops. That's true. Not all of them are bad. I think Jack Black is a really good voice actor. I actually think Chris Pratt has become a really good voice actor because he does so many voice acting jobs now. Yeah, some of them are good. It's just not all of them, unfortunately. Not all of them. Another example of someone that I thought wasn't that great was actually Anna Taylor-Joy in the Mario movie. I thought she was just okay, and I feel like a lot of that was just because of her inexperience with voice acting. So that's another example where I was like, oh, they just casted her because she's famous, not because she's actually a good voice actor. So that's another example. But anyway, I just had to bring that up because it made me kind of upset. Now, another thing that made me upset, the Batman 2 has been delayed. What the heck, man? Now it's not coming out until October 2026. And apparently the reason is because the director was not working on the script during the strike, which is dumb because he totally should have been. Sorry. I totally do not believe that all writers just stopped writing during the strike. Like, I totally do not believe that. So, I mean, I guess he was actually a good boy, and he didn't scab, so that's good for him. But now it means we have to wait an extra year for the Batman. That's crazy to me. It's going to be several years. I mean, when did the first Batman movie come out? Wasn't it like 2022, I think? So it's going to be 4 years. 4 years. 4-year gap between these two movies. That's quite a lot. That's a long gap. That's a very long gap. I wonder if this will hurt the movie at all. I mean, it has a very passionate fan base. I think it's still going to do well. But is it going to do as well as the first one with a 4-year gap? I don't know. I think it's going to depend on the quality of the movie, to be honest. Are you guys surprised by this? Are you sad by it? What do you think? Does James Gunn even approve of the Batman 2 for the new DC universe? Yeah, he is the one overseeing the entire DC property. So yeah, he does have say on what goes on the Batman 2, but I think he's giving Matt Reeves a lot of creative control. So I think he's the one that's mainly calling the shots with the Batman, not James Gunn. That's my opinion, though. The Batman 2 will be a musical? No, it will not be a musical like Joker 2 is a musical. Although that would be hilarious. A Batman musical? That would be hilarious. Oh, Cheetah Viper was let down by the first one. You know what? I didn't like the first one nearly as much as everyone else, so I kind of agree with you. But I still think it's a decent movie that's well made. So it sucks that the sequel is going to take this long to come out, because I think it's going to kill a lot of the hype for it. But if it's good, people will still see it, so maybe it'll be fine. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. Sorry, this is so long. We're actually almost done, not too long. So Patty Jenkins says she is back working on Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Now, I have no idea what the heck is going on at Lucasfilm. Like, what on earth is going on at Lucasfilm right now? I guess if this movie ever actually sees the light of day, there's now 3 movies that they're working on. They're working on this, the Rey movie, and then the Mandalorian movie. And honestly, I'm not sure about any of them. Like, I really feel like the Mandalorian movie requires a lot of homework, so I feel like that's going to alienate a lot of people who aren't hardcore Star Wars fans. The Rey movie has so much baggage from the sequel trilogy that I don't think it's going to be able to overcome. And then you have this movie, which it could be interesting, but Wonder Woman 1984 was terrible. So if she's going to direct this movie like 1984, then this movie could be dead on arrival. But if she directs this movie like the first Wonder Woman, which I thought was fantastic, then maybe this movie could be pretty good. So I have no idea. This one's a wild card because I think Patty Jenkins, to me right now, is a wild card as far as quality. Because the two Wonder Woman movies were just like two wildly different films as far as quality for me. Where one was so really good, where two was really, really bad. So I don't know. I just think that it's very strange. It feels like they don't really have a creative direction at Lucasfilm right now. They're just kind of throwing things at the wall and hoping things stick. That's what this feels like to me. It doesn't really feel like there's someone in charge who knows what they want. It feels very indecisive to me. Again, all of this is coming from from Kathleen Kennedy. All of this is coming from Kathleen Kennedy, and I don't know how she hasn't been fired. How has she not been fired? This woman should be fired. She is so bad at her job. Like, how is she this indecisive on what she wants and doesn't want? Like, how has she not been fired? I don't get it. Are you guys actually interested in this movie? Are you interested in any of the Star Wars movies that are coming out? What do you guys think? Nintendo Gaming Chair, who's been a member for 4 months, thank you, says, why you never covered non-Hollywood news such as video games, manga, and anime? Because my channel is about Hollywood news. I don't cover video games, manga, and anime because that's not what my channel is about. I cover Hollywood because that's what I have a passion and interest in. So that's why. Sorry. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy needs to go, for sure. The premise for the movie sounds interesting. That's true. This could be like Top Gun, but for in space, which kind of was the first Star Wars when you think about it. But anyway, this could be like another Top Gun moment, maybe. If it's as good as Top Gun, then maybe it could do really well. Honestly, I just have no idea. To me, this movie's a wild card. Like all the Star Wars movies coming up, they're wild cards to me. I just think that Star Wars is in such a bad shape right now. I don't think any of these movies are guaranteed hits. Like, not a single one, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. What do you guys think? Leo Galaxy says they should stop making Star Wars stuff for 10 years. Yeah, here's what I think Star Wars should do. I think they should stop making movies and shows for like 10 years, take a really good break, like a really good break, and then come back and reboot the whole thing. Yeah, I said it. I know, it's blasphemy, it's blasphemy. You guys are saying I'm wrong, I get it. You guys are typing everything right now, I get it, I know. But they need to reboot this stuff. It's gotten to the point where it's very convoluted. There's so much lore that you have to be a scholar to know all of the lore in Star Wars. I think if they rebooted it and went back to like just Han, Luke, and Leia, but with new actors, I honestly think that would be the best thing for them. Just take a long break and then come back with the reboot. So you don't have to deal with a bunch of lore. You don't have to deal with a bunch of backstory and history. You don't have to deal with a bunch of baggage. You can just start over and start fresh. That's what I think that they should do, but they're never going to do it because it would be so controversial. Oh, you guys actually agree with me? I thought you guys would be like, no. I really thought you guys would be like, heck no. But I see a lot of yeses, so that's great. Because I really feel like Han, Luke, and Leia are Star Wars. Like that trio, that story, that is what Star Wars is. And that's why they can't really get away from them, even though they keep trying to. I feel like they should just go back to those characters and start over with new actors. I feel like everyone else is getting a reboot. I don't think Star Wars is too untouchable to have a reboot. I don't. Especially with the way things are now, I think it needs a reboot, to be honest. That's my opinion, though. Okay, Jessica, I get the first Get Out. I was wondering, I was like, this is very controversial. I'm surprised you guys aren't, like, throwing tomatoes at me. Interesting. Pretty Princess says, I thought I was too far behind to catch up in 2003. I couldn't imagine catching up now. I know, exactly. Like, Just to even understand a single episode of Ahsoka, I felt like I had to watch 4 different TV shows and 10 different movies. It's gotten so crazy. It's so crazy. Okay, 10 to 12, 20 years break. 20 years, that's crazy. I think just a 10-year break would be fine, to be honest. Oh, you don't care for the Skywalkers? But Skywalkers are kind of the whole point of the Star Wars. Yeah. Anyway, I just think that they should reboot. That's my thought. Anyway, moving on. According to Bob Iger, though, Disney has made $12 billion from Star Wars, so they've made back almost 3 times what they invested in the franchise, which was $4 billion. So it is successful to a degree. They have made a lot of money on it, to be fair. I just think that where Star Wars is right now today is not where it was in 2015 when The Force Awakens came out, and there was so much hype and love over it. It's just a very different world right now for Star Wars. And unfortunately for Daisy Ridley, doesn't seem like it helped her career much, because apparently she's not getting much work after The Rise of Skywalker. She says, it's not that there wasn't any. I remember finishing and thinking, oh, it's quiet and strange. Now, unfortunately for Daisy Ridley, I feel like a lot of the critiques about these movies are about Rey, and some of it is because of her acting. Some people think that she's very stiff in these movies, very wooden. Apparently, even the director, what's his name? The director of The Force Awakens, he said that apparently he thought her acting was wooden too. So I feel like what probably happened was Hollywood knows these movies weren't well received. They know that Rey wasn't well received. They know that her acting wasn't well received. So that's why they're not giving her work, just because she came from something that wasn't well received. That's my theory on why she's not getting work. It sucks for her, though. That's why she's probably happy to do this Rey movie again, because at least she'll have a job. It seems like people who do Star Wars tends to mess up their career. The only person that doesn't seem to have messed up their career is Oscar Isaac. I feel like that actually helped his career. But everyone else, I feel like they don't really work as much as they used to. And that, I don't know. But I'm not entirely surprised by this, unfortunately for her. What do you guys think about this? Do you think Daisy Ridley should be getting more work? Do you think she's a good actress? Yeah, Astronomy thinks she's very wooden. Yes, J.J. Abrams, thank you. I was drawing a blank. Josh Loves Movies says, Daisy Ridley deserves better. She's a great actress, but Star Wars screwed her over. Okay, you think she's a great actress. I definitely think, honestly, they screwed over all of their characters. That sequel trilogy was such a mess. They screwed over Finn. They screwed over Rey. They screwed over that, the one of the characters. I'm drawing a lot of blanks today, but they screwed over a lot of characters, to be honest. Like, a lot of those characters were done dirty, like super, super dirty, just because they didn't know how to end it. I don't even think that it was, like, intentionally they were done dirty. I just think that there was a lot of incompetence going on behind the scene. Anna Bear thinks she's aight. Jessica H loves Rey. Oh, that's great. You can love Rey. That's fine. It's totally fine if you love Rey. I'm just pointing out the fact that she's a very controversial character, because not everyone loves Rey. Anna Bear says, but doesn't deserve all the hate. Yeah, I don't think she deserves as much hate as she gets, but I do think that the character could have been better. I definitely think she could have been written better, to be fair. But anyway, moving on to the next topic, because there's lots of Marvel to go over. So Marvel has fired the creator of X-Men 97, Beau DeMayo. I don't know what happened. There doesn't really seem to be a lot of information on what happened here, but I do have some, maybe possibly tea about this. Because I told you guys I really like to I like to read celebrity blind gossip items. Because I'm so nosy and I like to know what people are doing in Hollywood behind the scenes. And there was actually a blind about this, believe it or not. There was a blind about this, and they said that the reason he was fired was over some sort of legal reason, like he did something illegal, and they had to fire him. So maybe we're going to find out soon enough that he is going on trial for something, because that's what the blind said. They didn't say what he did that was illegal, just that he did something that was illegal. Again, I don't know if the blind is true or not, but there is some maybe sort of inside tea if it's true at all. Take it with a grain of salt, obviously. But I do think it's interesting. They don't usually, like, fire a creator from a show that's already completed something right before it premieres. That's very, very odd and strange. So obviously something must have happened. But anyway, I'm very, very curious to see if that blind is true, because if he did something illegal, what did he do to get fired? Was it another, like, Jonathan Majors situation? I have no idea. Very, very curious, though. I know, right? Very spicy. Ooh, the tea. I don't think it was about an OnlyFans account. Apparently he had it for a while, so they must have known about it beforehand, right? I don't know, man. Like Danny says, it's sort of giving Jonathan Majors. If it is because of he did something illegal, then maybe they're worried about bad optics, like with Jonathan Majors. That's the only thing I can think of. That's really, like, the only thing I can think of, to be honest. Or maybe it is because of his OnlyFans account. I have no idea. No idea. So we'll see. Now, Marvel Studios is reportedly trying to take less risks and are focusing on making more guaranteed hits. Now, I think this is actually very smart. I know a lot of people on Twitter were very upset at this news, but I think it makes so much sense, and I'll explain. So movies like Captain Marvel 3 and Ant-Man 4 won't happen, and Eternals 2. So they canceled Eternals 2, Captain Marvel 3, and Ant-Man 4, which makes sense because all of those movies did very badly. Ant-Man 3 did badly, Captain Marvel 2 did badly, Eternals 1 did badly. So it makes sense that they don't want to make sequels to movies that did poorly in theaters. Plus, all three of those movies were not critically well received. The best one that was the most well received was actually Captain Marvel 2, and even that one was not well received, like, universally. So we have three movies with mixed reception, or even bad reception in the case of Ant-Man 4, or Ant-Man 3. You have all of these movies that didn't do very well, so it makes sense to not continue with them. I don't understand why everyone is so upset on Twitter. I'm like, this is, like, so basic, common sense business decision. Why would you continue making more movies on sequels for movies that didn't even do that well? I don't understand it. Everyone's like, oh no, Eternals, and I'm like, you didn't even see Eternals in theaters. Why are you crying? But anyway, I just find it very strange that suddenly everyone's so passionate about these films when they flopped in theaters. Like, where were you guys when they were in theaters? I don't know. I just find it very strange. What do you guys think about all of this, though? Astronomy says, wasn't Ant-Man only supposed to be a trilogy anyway? I didn't know they were planning a fourth. I think they were. I think they wanted to keep going, but honestly, I think it's better to just keep it a trilogy anyway. I don't think Ant-Man needed a fourth movie regardless. Finally, they're doing something right? They really need to be canceling more movies. Right now, in fact, this is what I tweeted. They need to be focusing on their most popular movies that they have. They do not need to be focusing on, like, movies and characters that people just do not care about or only have very small fan bases, like Eternals. As I tweeted, they just need to focus on X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and yes, give us the Wanda solo movie, because people want Wanda. I love Wanda. She has a lot of fans. I don't know why they're not doing anything with her. They need to do more with Wanda. But anyway, so I'm kind of agree with Bob Iger. Even though I don't like Bob Iger, I think he makes a lot of dumb comments and says a lot of stupid stuff, especially lately. I kind of have to say I agree with him here, and I don't think any of these movies were going to be well received. Well, maybe they could have been well received, but I don't think that they would have done well in theaters. In fact, I think Eternals 2 probably would have been dead on arrival, just because the first one was not well received generally. I know that people on Twitter really liked that movie, but people in, like, The real world, for the most part, did not care for that movie. That's why it did not do well, and that's why it's not getting a sequel. Now, the real question I think everyone is trying to ask right now, what happens to Harry Styles? What happens to Thanos' brother? They brought in Harry Styles. They brought in, in an alternate universe, my boyfriend. No. They brought in Harry Styles, right? He's a pretty big star, and they're just not going to do anything with him? Are they just really never going to bring up Harry Styles again? Like, they just had him in a weird end-credit scene for one movie, and they just never acknowledge him again? Is that really what they're going to do? That's so strange to me. I can't see I can't see them doing that, but I feel like that's what they're probably going to do. That they're probably just never going to acknowledge Thanos' brother ever again. And it's just going to be a very weird, random thing that's like, remember that time Harry Styles was in a random end credit scene in a Marvel movie? Are they ever going to show him again? This is the question I think everyone's asking, right? Right? Yes, Prototype, I do care that much. I'm not even joking, I do care. Sadie Wood says, all of the films you've listed, I would have loved to see it actively go to theaters for most of them. Oh, well, Sadie Woods, I'm so sorry you're not going to get those films, but I do think you're in the minority. I mean, the box office and the audience reception proves that not everyone liked those movies or saw them. So, I understand you like them, but I do think you're in the minority, unfortunately. Vincent says Bob Iger should have canceled Frozen 4. You know what? I kind of agree. They should just focus on Frozen 3 and then maybe make a 4. But the fact that they're doing both is just greedy. Pretty Princess says, in the same universe where Justin Bieber is my husband, Brittany. Let's go to this universe together, alright? Anyway. Blue Gecko Nerd, that's not true. But anyway. Let's go to WTF news now. Like I said, it's kind of related to Black Mirror. It's kind of related to tech. Not kinda, it is related. Because look at this! Look at this, y'all. Did you guys see this? This robot is literally able to, like, respond and do things for you all on its own. Listen to this. Did you guys see this?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
This robot is speaking on its own and moving on its own. No one's doing it. This robot's doing it on its own. This is literally like the robots from iRobot.
Great.
This is the Terminator.
Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple.
He can clean up your trash. He can do your dishes.
It's the only edible item I could provide.
Soon we're all gonna have our own little mini robots. Where's Will Smith when you need him? I don't know, man.
Great. So
I just found this super cool and super freaky and super crazy. Anyone want their own personal robot that they can have in their house and do chores for them? Because that's what I guess this is. I don't know. This is literally like that scene in iRobot where the grandma has a robot in the kitchen. This is like that. This is what they want to make real. This is like the precursor to Detroit Become Human. This is so weird. This is what I mean when I say, like, when science fiction becomes science reality, how do we keep science fiction? Like, what happens to that genre? I'm so curious. Skynet is here.
Based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
Look at this! I'm sorry, but this blew my brain. It's a little slow.
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great. Can you put them there?
Look at this. You want the robot, Nicholas Wilson. You'd buy it? You guys want this? I don't know, man. This is creepy. You want it until it goes evil and then it attacks you when you're sleeping, right? That's what happens? I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about these things. They make me very, very scared. Very, very scared. But anyway, that's the show for you guys. It's been an hour and a half, so thank you all for bearing through this and watching the whole thing. This was a very fun stream. I had a very fun time talking to you guys. Again, I'm going to be reviewing the Society of Magical Negroes on Sunday, so make sure you're there at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This was really great. Thank you all for being here, and